Brennan,
Hmm?
I have a very important thing to draw to your attention.
Oh, we're starting. Okay, what's
We
up?
we are starting. Do you know the song "Everybody Talks"? That's
I
okay if
feel
you
like I
don't.
do. I feel like I do, but I feel like I'm spacing.
It's like one of the lyrics is like it started with a whisper and that
Oh,
was
okay,
when
yeah.
everything. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
do know
yeah,
that song, right? So I want to explore really quick. I want to take a look at that song really quick, because it's a great song, and I think it needs some attention from us on this episode of Chit Chats today. So if you would with me, please take a look at the lyrics of "Everybody Talks" by the Neon Trees, and could you read to me the 11th line from the song?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could. But you're fucking stupid. You know that?
Could you please read the lyric from the song?
I could hear the chit chat.
Welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. My name is Antonio.
And let's have a chit chat. You don't even. You fat.
Yay! And his name is Totodile, and he is the honorary third host of this episode today. Um, so Brennan, thank you for dealing with my stupid, cringy ass intro.
You are really running out of ideas.
Hey, running out, haven't ran out. Key terms still have some in me.
Key term.
Um, um, but yeah, so this is an episode of Chit Chats. It's another good old episode. Today we're gonna kind of kick back a little bit, have a little bit more of a, I guess, a classic Chit Chats, because we've been doing a lot of like games and special episodes with guests and stuff. So this episode is going to kind of harken back to the olden days of Chit Chats, and by olden days I mean like a year ago, where we would just kind of talk and just kind of discuss things that we got stuff to talk about. And I wanted to do an episode where we talk about the good old series, Brennan's favorite show, Cooking with Brennan, everyone's favorite show, frankly. Cooking with Brennan. And
Uh-huh.
Brennan, are you familiar with Cooking with Brennan?
I would hope so.
I think you might just be a little familiar with the show.
Just,
It's a
just, just a little.
just a little bit. It's it's a series that we do on my main channel. And we've been doing it
Really.
for quite a while, if you think about it. I mean, like, we've taken breaks, obviously. Um, but it's been a thing for quite a bit. I think almost 5 years now, you know. So it's kind of
Is it really
crazy.
mean?
Yeah, I think the first episode came out in 2017, and
Huh.
I know it's kind of crazy, right? Um, so what I wanted to do today is just kind of talk about where did Cooking with Brennan come from? How did it start? And also just I wanted to kind of catch, because there's a little bit of lore that comes with Cooking with Brennan, and I wanted to kind of discuss that. And I want to see how much what you know, because obviously because they're the videos that I have a heavy part in making, so like I feel like I know them pretty much inside and out at this point. But I want to see how much you know and how much you've retained. You know what I mean? Um, so Brennan, could you kind of tell me from your perspective, how did Cooking with Brennan come to be? Like, where did it start?
So it was a. Trying to remember. Was it a Sunday's Funny skit or was it a skit we were doing in general?
It was a Sunday Funny skit.
Okay, it was a Sunday. So we were doing a Sunday's Funny skit, and I think I even came up with this
You did.
skit.
You
I did.
you
Yeah.
wrote the skit, and you messaged me that you wanted to do it for Sunday Funnies specifically.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So we were doing one where I couldn't stop making egg puns.
Yes.
So like every thing that Antonio was saying, and uh, in the behind the scenes at that time, Antonio had like a bunch of series that he was doing. He was doing Life Hack with Ellis. Logic with Talon,
Uh-huh.
and so I was like, part of the script, I had to cook an egg.
Right.
And as I was cooking the egg, I look at Antonio. I'm like, oh, the new show coming to Tonyverse, Cooking with Brennan.
Yep. Exactly. It was
And
just a joke,
we yeah,
you know?
we just joked
Yeah.
about it because I was making jokes about it, and then over the years he started getting a couple other shows, like he did Theories with Donovan and stuff like that. And then so eventually one day Antonio just messages me and he's like, hey, you want to make Cooking with Brendan an actual thing?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I was like, wait, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I have a pretty small script written for like an episode we can do. And I was like,
It was a
sure.
really small script. It was literally like probably a page, and the actual video was like a minute long.
Yeah, I think it was like a minute and 34 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, so if that's exactly how long it was and you remember that, props to you.
Now I'm
Because
curious.
I don't even remember. Yeah, you should look it up if you're able to. But but Brendan, you pretty much got it like exactly on the nose. Like, yeah, it was a very small joke that we made in that behind the scenes video. I believe that the video is called Egg Throw Fails. That's the video that we make that joke in. Um, and it wasn't even until like a year later that I was like, I wonder if we could make this into a real series. But the thing about Cooking with Brennan that made it unique was that pretty much every other series that we were doing that was like blank with blank was like non-scripted. Like it was like Life Hacks with Ellis was pretty much me putting the camera on Ellis and just letting him do whatever he wanted. And Logic with Talent was pretty much the same. And all those series were just like silly little gags that we would have in videos. Cooking with Brennan was unique because I scripted every episode. And so it was
Damn,
completely what's
a
up?
minute. And, it was even shorter than I thought. A minute and 17 seconds.
7 minute and 17. That
Yeah,
is that is really short, dude. Like, wow. Like if you
I
think
know.
about
And
how
then you
long
look
episodes are
Frank,
nowadays.
and then yeah, then you look at like the Frank Strikes Again, and it's 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah. And yeah, so and I think I remember you brought up a point how every episode from like the first season of Cooking with Brennan, it got progressively longer, essentially.
Yeah,
And I didn't even notice that, and I didn't even necessarily intend for that to happen, but it just kind of happened that way. Um,
I think that's just because over time we started like making up more ideas and realizing that there was a lot more joke we could put behind it instead of just making it like a one-off like we thought we were going to.
yeah. Well, and the thing is I remember making the first episode, and I thought that was, and I had a really good time, fun time making that episode. It was a thing that we never really did before, and it seemed like a lot of people liked it at the time. They really liked the first episode, so I was like, we could totally make this into a series where you cook something new every episode. And I'm assuming you're probably looking at
Yeah, I am right now. So
okay,
it goes
wait,
a minute 17. What?
yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I had like a little challenge for you, but it kind of revolves around like you'd have to not look at the videos.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but if you want
I'm
to read
not
the time
looking.
codes,
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna read the time codes real quick.
okay, that's fine. Yeah.
So it goes a minute 17, 2 minutes and 7 seconds, 2 minutes and 31 seconds, 3 minutes and 44 seconds,
Mm.
3 minutes and 25 seconds, 4 minutes and 7 seconds, 4 minutes and 18 seconds, 5 minutes and 17 seconds, 6 minutes and 3 seconds, 7 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah. And that's just the yeah,
That's just the first season.
that's just the first season. Yeah. So yeah, we did 10 episodes for the first season. Okay, I want to ask you to I know you just looked at them, but I want you to yeah, okay. So I'm curious if are you able to name at least for the first season, like what did we make in every episode in chronological order? Like
Like, oh
make.
god, in chronological order.
I want to see if you can do it. If you can't do it, it's fine. But I
Okay.
I want to see if you can at least name them all. But if you can do it in chronological order, that's like an extra challenge.
Okay. It was 10 episodes in season one. So it was holiday cookies,
Yep.
toast.
Yep.
They were already. And then I think the third one we did was actually the same patches. I think it was pot pie.
It was. Yes, that's correct.
And then I think it was the healthy episode. So it was salad that turned into cake?
That's not.
Oh
That was
shit.
not it. No,
Oh well, that's still one of the episodes.
that is one of the. Okay, yeah, that's one of the episodes. Yeah.
um.
So if you want to just try to name all of them for the first
Okay,
season.
well then, so then there was the pumpkin pie episode.
Yep.
There was the lamb sauce Gordon Ramsay episode.
Yep. That's 6.
There was, of course, the eggs episode,
Yep. That's the last one.
and then there was the taco episode,
Yep. 2 more.
and then there was in Frank's we cooked hot dogs or
Yep.
Frank's.
All right. One more.
What else did we cook? Salted cookies, toast.
There's a certain thing that you did in this episode, in the episode that you're forgetting, where you cleaned something. I don't know if that's.
Oh, the fucking barbecue episode.
Yes, yeah, the barbecue
Fuck,
episode.
what did we cook in that episode though?
We
Was
didn't
it just
really cook
barbecue?
anything.
Was it just like barbecue kind
We
of?
just like I made a stupid joke where you like barbecue like paper like
Because it was
versions of the
yeah.
ingredients. Yeah, that's probably why it's more forgettable, because we didn't actually have any like physical food that we were working with, you know?
I don't know. I kept thinking about that episode, but for some odd reason, I kept associating it with just the hot dogs for some reason.
Gotcha, yeah. I mean, like there's some overlap. I kind of joke that like burgers was what you cooked in that episode, but yeah. So
Ah,
even though that's not what happens, like really, I don't know, but it's something. Um, but yeah, but you like you pretty much named all of them. Like so I'm glad that you remember them. But yeah, we just like kept on making them throughout that year. And they kept on getting longer and more elaborate. And yeah, and I definitely feel like from the first episode to like I guess the more recent ones, like I think that there's definitely been like improvement in like production quality,
yeah.
and not just like in terms of like editing and like camera work, but like I feel like you've gotten a lot more comfortable like in your role as like the chef, you know.
The role
um
of playing my other self.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we joke around because like in the Cooking with Brennan lore, me and Brennan play ourselves essentially. And but Brendan is like obviously a very characterized version of himself, where he's kind of a little dumber, for the sake of comedy, right? And I guess to a certain extent, I'm the same way, but I always tend to play the straight man in the videos, which is not necessarily intentional, but it's just kind of like because like you're the more like eccentric kind of like goofy character, right?
Yeah.
And I'm more like kind of there, like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
Like, why am I
Um,
here?
yeah, exactly. Except in the episodes where Frank is involved, then you become the straight man essentially, and Frank becomes
Yeah,
the
because
goofy
you're
character.
like, don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but but yeah. So I guess because I want this episode to be kind of like a recap of the events of Cooking with Brennan, because obviously at this point the season finale of Cooking with Brennan, also the series finale of Cooking with Brennan of season 2, will not have been out yet. But we are working on that pretty consistently. And I want this episode to kind of serve as like a recap of all the events that happened. So that way, if you watch this episode of Chit Chats, you can jump right into watching the final episode and pretty much understand everything that's going on, right? Because there is quite a bit of build up to it. But if you were there and you saw every episode, then it should be comprehensible for you. And in Brennan's case, he was in every episode, so it should be very comprehensible for him, somehow. But it's interesting because I feel like the story of Cooking with Brennan has gotten like really out of hand, like not even intentionally. Uh-oh.
Don't mind that.
Okay.
I
But
had to grab something, but it was right behind my computer.
I gotcha. Okay. But yeah, I want to bring to attention the St. Patrick's Day episode first, right?
Okay.
Because that introduced a
That was like
very, huh?
that was like the first like lore episode.
Yeah, I'd say so because it introduced a very key character in all of this,
Yeah.
right? Well,
Yeah.
actually, if you want to be specific, there's another character that we're forgetting, but we'll cover that in a minute. But yeah, so in that episode we introduced the character of the Leprechaun. Back then it was the unnamed Leprechaun, but we've since given them a name, Darby, played by Donovan. Um, and this character was honestly just a very small joke in the St. Patrick's Day episode where because you cooked a pot pie and there was a joke. I think that it was like, oh, this episode isn't St. Patrick's Day themed enough, and then you take like a St. Patrick's Day like a leprechaun's hat out of nowhere, and then it's
Yeah.
revealed that Donovan was wearing it, and then like his character of the leprechaun is wearing it, and then he like takes your pot pie, and that's like his whole part, right?
Yeah.
So I never really thought of him as like a villain in terms of Cooking with Brennan, but like that's what he ended up becoming.
And I was like, I'm trying to remember what exactly turned him against me.
I kind of had to flub it a little bit, but basically the bad guy, the main bad guy, who we will rename nameless at this point because it's revealed in the final episode, but the main bad guy recruits him because he can perform magic, and Donovan's character agrees because the main bad guy offers to make him a pot pie.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's essentially his whole motivation. Which is a little silly, I'll admit, but that is
Hey man, story had to be created.
everyone has to have a motivation. You know what I mean? And some motivations are just less complex than others.
Yeah.
Um, but that was one big lore character from Cooking with Brennan. But there's another lore character that their origins like predate Cooking with Brennan. Do you know who I'm referring to, Brennan?
Oh yeah, fucking stabby.
Stabby the Ass Bear. Yep. So, do you remember Stabby's origins?
It was.
His are a
I'm
little
trying
bit
to
more
remember.
obscure. So,
I'm trying to remember what the fuck that video was.
it was another Sunday Funny skit.
It was a Sunday's Funnies.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, because all I remember, I don't. All I remember was us going to fucking the school and talking, and like my character thinks that like green M&Ms taste different.
Yeah, and that yeah, I don't that yeah that was like a very obscure joke in the video, but we kept it. We ran with it.
And then like
Um,
we hear some weird noise,
mhm.
and we follow it, and then we like come to like the little slow alleyway, and fucking Stabby just appears.
Yeah, it
Voiced by
was
Donovan, but puppeteered by me.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did puppeteer it originally, but yeah, it was a really dumb joke that I threw in for kind of no reason, but like basically we hear a weird noise and then Brennan's like, "Oh, it's an ass bear." And I'm like, "What the fuck is an ass bear?" And it's an assassin bear. And then later we come to realize that the noise that we were hearing is an ass bear, but it's my teddy bear Stabby. And it's a really dumb it's a really dumb like explanation for it, but like essentially yeah, Stabby is a character who's voiced by Donovan, merely because Donovan was like the only person available to film that day, pretty much.
Yeah, and I remember we originally tried to get like some weird funny voice for Stabby,
Yeah. Why,
and
hello
like
there, Brennan.
yeah, it's supposed to be all high pitched,
Yeah,
and now it's just turned into Donovan's voice.
it's literally just Donovan's voice.
And so I love the little joke in the Cooking with Brennan one where they meet,
Yeah,
and they're like,
and they're
"Hey,
like,
you sound kind of familiar."
yeah, your voice is kind of annoying. Hey, your voice is annoying too. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of yeah, it's funny. I'm debating for the final episode. I kind of want to like apply like a pitch shift to like Stabby's voice to make it a little distinct from Donovan's.
That
Um,
might be a good idea.
I feel like that would be a good, but it's going to be inconsistent with like his other appearances, so it's going to be a little like annoying. But I might do it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. but yeah, essentially Stabby is another like villain in the series, and the pretty much the only reason why Brennan and him are enemies is because at the end of the original skit that we did, Stabby like hits you.
Oh yeah, because that's back when like every video I was in, I had to get hit with something.
Yeah, you had to get hit with something for some reason.
I got hit enough in so many of your videos that you eventually made a compilation
Yeah.
of it. Well, like Brennan gets hit with objects.
Yeah, it was like a whole joke in the birthday video that I did, where you guys are like planning my birthday party, and then you were literally like, "Oh, I was gonna let Antonio throw things at me for his birthday because he seems
Yeah,
to like
there's a
to do
lot of
that."
throw shit at me.
Yeah, I
Well,
feel
I
like
mean, I was in on the joke though. There was literally an episode
you
where I
were.
was even like, we were trying to, you were trying to figure out like filler spots for part of the episode, and I was like, how about you just like take random shit and throw it at me?
Yeah, right, something like that. Yeah.
It's like
Um.
whenever you threw a branch at me,
Oh
remember?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was from the. It was like I kept on hearing annoying Christmas music, and I was like, "Rah!"
Yeah, threw the most
Yeah.
randomest shit at me.
Yeah, like how did you get a branch? We're inside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
I do remember
inside.
that. Yeah. Um. So yeah, that was like a joke we had, but essentially, yeah, that's why Stabby is like your enemy. But then in the anime episode, we're jumping forward in the timeline a little bit, but in the anime episode, Stabby comes back and is like your anime rival or like
Yeah,
your opponent in
now
that
give
episode.
me the sushi
Give me the sushi, and then you guys have like an epic anime fight, and you guys shoot.
with the sword that I still cannot fucking
You
find.
can't find this. Yeah.
I don't know what
Hey,
happened to that katana.
hey, let's be optimistic here. Maybe you'll find it before we film
I keep
with
looking.
it
I'm still looking. Don't
potentially.
worry.
Yeah, but yeah. Regardless, though, like you and Stabby are like that's kind of where your enemies, the roots of your you know
Are
relationship lie,
yeah.
right? Um, but then I feel like okay, so like what happens? I guess the next big important episode to mention would be the finale of season one because that introduces a lot of lore about your character.
Oh, about how I'm fucking psychotic.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I'd say
How I need so much mental help. It's not even funny.
you have a condition where
Yeah.
you can't be around eggs without making egg puns. And
Egg pun compulsion disorder.
egg pun, hey, good job. You remembered the name of it.
Yeah, somehow.
Egg pun compulsion. Because probably
I
because
think it's because I had to say that line so many
yeah,
goddamn times.
because it was freaking yeah. Because I don't know why, but I love to write lines for you that are just super complicated to say for some
Yeah,
reason.
Antonio knows that I
Unintentionally.
cannot say words right, and yet he still writes me lines like the
It's
most.
it's not
Like he
intentional.
expects me to read. Like he expects me to read the thesaurus like every day or some shit.
Hey, I thought, don't we all do that? That's like
I
it's. I
don't
don't
even
know.
own one. I think.
Well, Christmas present right there. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, but but where I was going. Oh yeah, so within the egg episode, we established that your character has like a disorder where you can't be around eggs without making puns. And then later in the episode, you start hallucinating and you see like an egg start to talk to you, right?
Oh yes.
And that's essentially like that's how you conquer your
Dude,
fear of eggs.
and this was like before you got your green screen and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so it's like the most like shitty fucking like background image of them just holding the egg and your lip on the
I
egg.
know, I know. It's so bad because I really wanted to have my mouth be over it, and I didn't know how to. I couldn't do any green screen shit with it, so I just had to do that, and it's so stupid looking, but it's kind of funny now looking
Yeah.
back on it.
It's funny to look back at it.
Yeah, but I definitely can. I can do it a lot better now. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what happens, and that is very important to the story. So essentially, like an egg starts talking to you and you smash it and then you like take the bag of the eggs and you like throw it out and that's like how you conquer the your fear or whatever, right?
Yeah, my fear.
Yeah, so that's
I throw it outside and then I
oh
flip it off.
shoot, we forgot I forgot another important like lore like aspect of the lore.
What?
um the Frank episode.
Oh,
I'd say that's pretty important because Frank
just
obviously he
because
comes
I
back.
wanted to forget. No, no,
Yeah, exactly. We all wanted to forget about Frank.
no. Yeah, I'm surprised we forgot about that episode.
Yeah, but do you remember how that episode even happened? Because I didn't
Yes,
plan on that episode
I
happening.
do. I do. I do because I'm the one who asked for that episode to happen.
Yeah.
Because there was so you were doing a video
Uh-huh.
where Frank was begging you for his own series,
Yeah. Hmm.
and he was um because so Frank was begging you for his own series, and he was like, "Can I have my own series?" And you were like, "No." And then he's like, "What if I was to take over one that's going on right now?" And he says like, "What if I take over series with Donovan?" And Donovan like shows up and
Yeah, and he
slaps him,
slaps him. Yeah. Uh-huh.
and then um and then he says all these other things, and he's like, "What about cooking with Brennan?"
Yeah.
And then you're like, "We just started that series in like last June or something like that. Like, we're not going to end that series we just started or switch hosts like that."
Yeah.
And then, but then you were like, but then instead he was like, "Exactly, it's just started. What a good time to bring in a brand new host and
Yeah.
things like
Mhm.
that." And then after that episode, I remember instantly messaging Antonio, being like, "We got to do an episode where Frank tries to like steal the show."
Mhm. Yeah, like
And so we did a teaser for it
we did.
of
Yeah.
Frank like sitting on the couch and getting a call and me being like, "I will find you and I will kill you," like the classical thing. And you're like,
Yeah.
wrong number.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it like showed me, and it's like, "I'll find you, Frank, one of
Mhm.
these days." And then it led to like the Frank episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Yeah, I
that's
guess I remember that because I'm the one who asked you. I was like, "Dude, we got to do an episode where Frank tries to like steal the show."
yeah. And I'm glad you did because that ended up being one of my favorite episodes, I think, because it was
Oh,
so
it's one of
fun.
my favorite too because of
Yeah.
how I get to act with Frank in
Yeah.
those episodes.
It was so fun, like, because I feel like whenever we do an episode with you and Frank, there's a lot of like room for like, you know, ad libbing and like sort of like very comedic moments with you and I guess me technically, but like playing off of each other. You know what I mean?
Most
Um,
of the Frank, most any video that has Frank in it with me,
uh-huh.
like me and Frank in, Antonio writes a script,
Yeah.
but Antonio, we've also come to agreement that in Antonio's script world, my script self that I play in all of Antonio's videos
Yeah.
hates Frank. We've discussed
Yeah.
this many times. He
Yeah.
hates Frank.
You
And
have that
so
intense hatred.
Antonio's just come to the conclusion that he will write a script and he'll still want me to follow most of the script, but he also knows that I'm going to ad lib some of my own stuff in there because of how much I hate Frank.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's what
And
you'll
so
do. Yeah.
there's a lot of scenes in both Frank episodes that are not in the script or actions I do that he did not tell me to do, and I just did because I felt like it was the right thing. Like a lot of the like flipping him off or like being or like voicing like "oh my fucking gosh," like shit like that. That was all ad lib because I was like, if I was playing this character who hates this fucking dude, I'm gonna do something that makes me seem pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah, and exactly. And I like when you do that because I think it makes it more believable. You know what I mean? Like it like
Yeah,
really like hammers in that you hate this dude. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Which is great. Because Frank is he's just a pest. You know what I mean? And especially to Brennan, like
And to all the orphanages.
yeah, and to all. Oh yeah, and to the orphanages, dude. Dude, the orphanages. Oof, that's a story. But yeah, but
I was talking to Camacho about
uh
some of this stuff, and I was telling him like, "Yeah, Antonio's character Frank burned down an orphanage." And they're like, he's like, "What the?" He's like, "I thought this was a cooking show. What the fuck?" And I was like, "I don't know, man."
it is. I feel like we like by this point we have like surpassed the limits of a cooking show. Like it's not. It's barely a cooking show at this point. You know what I mean?
No,
It's just called Cooking with Brennan because it's for branding purposes. You know?
for food. It's just because it's somewhat food related.
Yeah, exactly. There's always food involved. It's not necessarily always the focus. um,
Yeah,
but yeah, but yeah. So Frank, obviously in the video he tries to take over Brennan's show, but then basically in the end it's established that like it was a dream essentially, and Frank didn't take over Brennan's show. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my god. Yeah, and then you had me do that fucking scream and I could not do it.
Yeah.
But
No.
no.
Yeah, with me slowly looking into the camera.
Oh my god, I hated that.
Yeah, but you did it though, so
Somehow.
you
Jesus.
did it. You did it. So that episode technically happened before the eggs episode, obviously, because the Frank episode was right before. Was like the
Yeah,
penultimate
it
episode.
was the ninth episode.
Yeah, and then the eggs episode happened, and then we took a long break after that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to just like have like a nice satisfying conclusion to the season because we did 10 episodes, like that was pretty good, you know what I mean? But we always kind of had like I think we all always kind of talked about potentially doing a season 2, you know what I mean? I remember
Yeah.
like as
I remember
early what's up?
I remember walking from Taco Bell with
Yeah, with you
someone.
with Josh,
We
with
were
you and
was it
Josh.
was it Josh?
Yeah.
And Josh was like, um it's in your vlog, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
did a
in your
vlog of it.
vlog where he's like, this is one of the first big mentions of you and me that we actually finally that later that day we started talking about like what if we were gonna do a season 2, and that's
Yeah.
because Josh was like, we were talking about something that we did during the behind the scenes of an episode. And Josh goes like, "Are you guys ever going to do more cooking with Brennan?" And
Yeah.
then you just cut the camera to me. I'm like, "That's classified."
Yeah, exactly. And that was like basically it, I think. I think
Yeah,
that's as much as we said because we weren't really sure.
yeah.
Um, but fun fact, I had basically every episode planned for what I wanted to do as early as like late 2019
I'm not surprised.
because I had and they were very rough ideas. Like I didn't have any like scripts done or whatever, but I was like I wanted to do a serial episode because Raisin Bruh has been in the intro since the first
Yeah,
episode. So I was like I think it would be a very nice intro to the season if we did like a serial episode. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, and then I wanted to do a pizza episode because your favorite food is pizza. So I thought that that would
yeah,
make sense, right? And
yeah.
then what was that?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Continue.
And then I wanted to do the anime episode because I know that you like anime, and I thought that would be appropriate,
Mhm.
right? I wanted to do an episode revolved around your birthday. Like I came up with all those ideas, but we just never did anything with them. And that's why I was like, okay, I want to do a season 2. And so early in 2020, I started like conceptualizing like, okay, like what if we started like filming it this year, right? And then little thing called COVID happened, and
Cool.
that pretty much put a damper on those plans, you
Yeah,
know.
for quite a
So
while.
it did, yeah. And I pretty much all the videos I was making that year were like pretty much all by myself, or I was on calls with people. Um, and we didn't do anything with Cooking with Brennan for like the rest of the year until midway through 2021. That's when the pandemic started to clear up a little bit, and vaccines were coming out, and we were starting to.
So we started filming, and then I gave you COVID.
And again, well, we'll get to that, but yeah, but no, but yeah. So essentially, like we were like, okay, let's do it. Let's make a second season. So and then that summer we filmed the first 5 episodes, but it was interesting because normally when we filmed Cooking with Brennan, we would do one episode every time we filmed. Like we would film one episode and then we would go home and then the episode would come out and then we would go to the next one, right?
Yeah,
But this time we were filming 2 every day that we filmed,
yeah, because
And
we had to make sure to get enough done in time because we were trying to get at least because the way that you were doing it and still are was like trying to get an episode out every month.
yeah, that
And
was what
so
I
what
wanted to do.
we filmed as much as we could um
Before the summer was over.
before the summer was over, so then we would have an episode that could come out every month.
Hmm.
And then like the second we could get together again, we're like, okay, we need to start catching up.
Yeah, exactly. But it worked out. Like we did it. You know what I mean? Like without any flaws.
Somehow. Yeah,
Yeah, I
somehow.
know. It's crazy. Like I'm proud of us that we were able to do that because it was really that was satisfying for me because I like having a consistent schedule as much as I don't always stick to it. And being able to upload one every month, I feel like it was like a very nice like progression of. of
Yeah.
episodes. So yeah, so we started that summer. We filmed the first five, and then I think basically from the beginning, I knew I wanted to have like a really big ending to the season, you know. Um, so I
Yeah.
kind of started like planning out like a villain, right? Um, but I wanted the first five episodes to be pretty much no, like classic Cooking with Brennan. No, nothing like too exciting or too like nothing too
Foreshadowing.
yeah, nothing too like serious going on, right? Um, so like the first five episodes of season two are like pretty standard. You make you know we make some jokes. You make food. You know, goofy shit happens. I mean, we did like the gamer episode and the anime episode, and those were like
Goofy.
more involved, right?
Goofy.
Goofy. Um, but other than that, you know, like we pretty much just did like standard stuff. And then in the party episode at the end, you might remember, me and you are like dancing, right?
Oh, that's right.
We're like dancing and we're partying, and then there's like a little like post credit scene, you might call it, where you see like this very shady figure and he's watching the computer screen and he's watching Brennan and Antonio dancing. And then he says something along the lines of like, "Yeah, Brennan, enjoy your time now, but soon I'm gonna get my revenge," or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much foreshadowing the second half of the season, where we start to get pretty much every episode. It gets more and more like building up to like sort of a villain, like an arc. There's like an arc of like this villain, right? Um, that was what my goal was. I wanted to do that. And Brendan, you pretty much called who the villain was like right away. I remember.
Yeah, I did. 'Cause I had a feeling.
Yeah, and yeah. It's I mean like I feel like it's not that like I feel like you could figure it out if you watched every episode. You could kind of try to piece it together who it is.
Yeah.
But you know, I wanted to be a little mysterious with it. And then pretty much with every episode, we introduce like a new villain essentially, or like a new part of the team, right?
Yeah.
So like first there's Darby, so he comes back and is part of the team, and then there's the wizard, Houdini, who is Dean's character. And he turns us into Legos. And fun fact, I think I might have told you this, but I didn't plan on doing the Lego episode until very late in like the production of the season.
Wasn't it? It wasn't until you went to Legoland, wasn't it? And you got like the Lego figures of us.
Yeah, we went to New York and they had a Lego store, and you could make like custom minifigures of like whoever you wanted, essentially. And I basically had like I wanted to make one of myself because like you know that's kind of what they expect that you're going to do there. But then I was like, what if I made one of Brennan too, and then we do like a Lego episode? You know, this was before like the first episode of the season even came out. I remember,
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, I want to do that, and then we did it, and I think it came out pretty good. You know, like it's very much like I don't think we would have made that if it wasn't that I got those figures. You know, but I think it came out pretty good. Um, I remember the ice cream episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I didn't actually plan on doing an ice cream episode. Originally, I was going to do an April Fool's Day episode.
Really?
Yeah, because around the time that episode came out, it was around April Fool's Day.
Huh.
So
I did
that,
not know that.
and I just thought that was interesting because I wanted to do one, but I didn't like full transparency. I didn't have any ideas for what we could do for an April Fool's Day episode, at least at the time. Um, so it was very last minute that I was like, okay, what other thing could we do that we haven't really done before? And then I came up with ice cream because I was like, I don't know, it's something. And then I had the idea of like, oh, what if the villain wants to like melt your ice cream and that's like his plot or something? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Very much like a Doofenshmirtz esque like
Yeah.
stupid plan, you know?
Yeah. That's totally.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So you know, bunch of shenanigans happens. The wizard joins the team. Uh, Stabby joins the team. and then they plan to go after Frank, this villainous team, because
Yes,
they
that's
have the
right.
idea to capture someone who's close to Brennan, right? And it's kind of like, who are they going to capture? But then the next, and then I don't. Do you remember the video that I made, Frank's Giving?
Yes, that's right. You teased it in the end,
I
didn't you?
did, yes.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
It was a
That
very
video,
like
that Thanksgiving video was out of nowhere.
it was, yeah. It was. It's so stupid because I had the idea for the name of that video to like I came up with that like 2 years ago maybe, but I never knew what I was going to do with it. I just thought Frank's Giving sounded funny, and then I just was like, okay, we'll just do it. Where he tries to make his own holiday. Um, but then at the end of that video, obviously he's like, okay, what else could I do? And then he looks at the TV and there's just a picture of you, of you and him, and then he's like, maybe I could hit Brendan up, or something.
Yep, and that Frank strikes again.
Yep, and then that leads into the second Frank episode because I knew I always wanted to do another episode with Frank, with you and Frank, because that was just like that was too good of an opportunity, right?
Yeah,
So we did that, and then that introduces the whole plot line where they want to capture Frank, right? And then they do, obviously, because you see that at the ending of Frank's from the Memories, which recently came out. Um,
Frank's for the men.
but yeah, that's essentially like Stabby goes and he captures Frank, and they plan to take him hostage to like find out information about Brennan, and that's all that you know in terms of like what like up to this point, like what we know about that whole plan. Um, but then I wanted to tell you another interesting thing about the mac and cheese episode that you might not have known. And that's the fact that it was originally going to have a rap in it.
No, I did know this.
Oh, you did know that. Okay.
I remember you mentioning. Well, I didn't know much about it. I just remember you mentioning something about it.
Right. Because I
That there
kind
was
of
an original idea for a rap.
yeah, that was the original idea because essentially what I was thinking was like, oh, what's like something that we've never done with an episode? Oh, we've never done like a music video, right? So I had like this idea, and it never really came to be because one, I didn't really have a good idea of like how to write the video. Two, it would have been a lot more of a process because we would have had to record the song and then we would have had to film a music video, and that probably would have taken multiple days.
Yeah,
So it would have been hard to fit that into our schedules. And then third of all, it was hard to like incorporate that idea while also kind of like keeping the theme of like this villain arc that's going on. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it would have felt very out of place if I decided to do that. Um, so we didn't do
Trust
it.
me. Trust me. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, yeah. It would have been dumb, but it was an idea I had. But we didn't end up doing it. But I think it's okay because I think it's still like obviously it still ended up like we got a good episode out of it. We still made mac and cheese and shit.
Oh yeah, I think it
Um,
turned out fine.
yeah. So, but that was the original plan. But then obviously we do that episode, and then that basically it ends on a cliffhanger where the villain of the show like is like, okay, now is my time. I'm going to go after Brendan, and then that's all that we know so far.
That's all
So
we know.
that's
That's
all that
all for now, folks.
that's all for now, folks. Bye. I wanted to share maybe like one or two more fun facts about cooking with Brennan that I don't know if you know, Brennan, but or at least I don't think I've revealed before.
All
But it'd
right.
be interesting to see. But other than that, like that's pretty much all I have to say. That's all that the viewers need to know. You know. But interesting facts.
All ears.
I wanted to do a um interactive choose your own adventure episode at one point.
This I do remember actually.
Yeah. I had the idea where basically the idea is that Brennan is making soup, and throughout the episode, it didn't necessarily have to be soup, but that's the idea that I had because soup is such a like a flexible dish, I guess. Like you can put so many different things into the soup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But basically the idea was that in every video, like it would be like you'd have a start video. It's like, okay, what's the base of the soup? And then you pick either like chicken broth or beef broth or something like that. And then like every time you pick, it like gets you closer to like you either make like a good dish or a bad dish, but it depends on what you choose. You know what I mean? And so
I
I
like
think,
the for those of you who have seen like A Date with Markiplier or Markiplier in Space,
yeah,
that's that.
it would have been very similar to that. Yeah. Um, but we never ended up getting to do that, mainly because, again, it would have been more involved and we didn't have as much time. And also, it wouldn't have really worked thematically with the video, with the ones that were coming out, because it would have been hard to incorporate like the villain plot line in a video like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we didn't end up doing that.
and that one, yeah, the amount of time that one would have taken to record too.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more involved. You know. Um, I'm looking at my notes. This is I have a note of like Tonyverse video ideas, and I have a section that says cooking with Brennan, and I'm just gonna read to you the ideas that I had. Cooking with Brennan, epic meal time. Cooking with Brennan, fancy. Cooking with
I
Brennan.
remember that one.
You remember that one? Do you kind of
Mm-hmm.
remember the story behind that one?
Wasn't gonna be your friend's kitchen up in Portland?
Yes. It would have
Yeah.
been at my mom's friend's kitchen because she basically said that if I ever wanted to like film a video there, I could. And they have a very nice kitchen. So my idea was like we do an episode there where Brennan like he tags along with us to go there, and then we film an episode of Cooking with Brennan where it's like, oh, we gotta upgrade to the set or whatever, right? And then we cook like a really fancy dish or whatever. But we
And
never
then
ended up doing that,
in the end, we got sued and went back to our old
and we
kitchen.
go back to the old place. Yeah, exactly. And then we have Cooking with Brennan chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggies.
Because why not? And then we have Cooking with Brennan sponsored. I don't know what that would have been. And then we have Cooking with Brennan Thanksgiving. That
Oh, okay.
was, that was an idea I had, but we never ended up doing that. But honestly, I'm glad with the videos that we did do. I think that they came out good. Like
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed. You know.
The
Um,
only one that I wish we could have done, but there was no real way to get it to work completely. We probably would have been the fancy one.
right. Yeah. That would have been fun. I don't want to say never to anything, but right now it doesn't look like we'll be able to do it. But and then remember you had an idea for another video that you said you still wanted to do even after the series ends for Cooking with Brennan.
Oh, yeah, we can do it as like an April Fool's video for some time.
Yeah,
It's literally just I have an MRE.
yeah, meals ready to eat, right?
Yeah, the things that they use in the military.
Uh huh.
And I was thinking me and Antonio could just do like the funniest video. Be like cooking with Brandon, the return, question mark, exclamation point, and
Yeah, right.
it's just us eating the MRE.
Yeah, right. I think that'd be fun.
Upload it as like an April Fool's video.
I mean, we revealed it in here, but people might forget. You know what I mean? And then we'll still, I think I'd be down to do that. I think that'd be fun. But yeah.
I think it'd be really fun.
But other than that, that's pretty much all of the little intricacies and like fun facts I have about Cooking with Brennan. Um, and yeah, other than that, like stay tuned because the final episode. This is going to be the finale of Cooking with Brennan, essentially, and
It is on the way.
It is going to be a freaking huge episode, and there's going to be so much going on, and it's going to be epic, as the kids say. And
epic,
freaking, it's gonna be a wild ride. So
a wild ride.
It's gonna be a wild ride, dude. No, but yeah. So that's pretty much it. Brennan, thanks for joining me today to talk about the lore of Cooking with Brennan,
as always,
and all that. And don't worry, the next episode that we'll do, it will not be. It will be a fun game or something, but this one was a little bit more laid back and just a talky episode. So hopefully that's okay. I don't know, guys. We kind of just do whatever we want, So if you don't like it, then why did you watch all the way this far? This video's been like an hour long. You really watched all the way this far and you don't care? Like, okay. And then there goes Brennan. He left.
I literally put my hand down on my mouse, and it was apparently hovering like near the, and it was just decided, you know what? we're gonna leave.
We're gonna leave. All right. Well, that works out because that's gonna conclude this episode anyway. So,
Hey,
um,
we can't go one episode without some kind of weird little.
some weird thing. Hey, it's been worse. I will say there was a moment earlier in this video where I had to check the audio because I was worried that I didn't that it wasn't on,
Oh,
and
oh
it was
no.
like 10 minutes in. But
Oh Jesus.
luckily we're good. I would have said something,
Alrighty.
but that's going to conclude this episode. So Brendan, thanks again for being here. Um, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
See you
Bye.
on the next one.
It started with a whisper,
Stop.
and that was when I kissed her.
It's good.